Hey,
Hi,
San
San
Fam.
Fam. We have been living in Norway now for 4.5 years, and we thought to share with you how is it actually to live in Norway as a Christian? Is it hard? What kind of challenges are you
Mm,
facing, or is it just smooth?
yeah.
So,
Uh,
what did you think about when we started talking about making this video?
for me, the first thing that comes to mind, whether it's hard for a Christian or not to live somewhere, is immediately images of
Mm.
persecution for your faith, and your family doesn't want to have anything to do with you when you're Christian, or you're being, fired from your job when you convert, and all these kinds of very hostile um, actions toward Christianity that we are not experiencing really at all. Here in Norway, it's very
No.
free. There's no hostility in that sense, no persecution in the physical sense, as you might immediately think of. Oh, it's hard to be a Christian here. But the interesting thing is that the devil doesn't only work by that kind of persecution. He has different ways in which he works around the world to try to really persecute God's people.
Mm.
And there are things that we are experiencing here that, that do make it harder to be a Christian.
Mm. What is one of those?
Oh, okay. I thought I don't talk for too long. Well, one of the things is, of course, the culture in which you live and how that can impact your view and as well as your whole family. There's, for example, things that with having a YouTube channel, there's things that where we feel cautious to talk about because the government here, it's very for the people in a way. That's the perception of many, but it can also quickly turn around when you're
If you're
being
living outside of the norm, if you're
exactly.
not just like how they expect people to live and
Yeah.
be, if you're too different, then you can be put on the map. Like if
Yeah.
you're vegan and then you're Christian and then you
Homeschool.
homeschool, then we have heard of people around where actually the government is like coming in and trying to
Mm.
see is this really healthy situation for the child, not because of anything that has actually like happened, but simply because you're living very different.
Yeah.
And it has even been cases where it's resulted in the children being taken away.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of the things that actually do make it a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more challenging to fully live out your faith,
Yeah.
Christian faith in Norway, if you are not just like being a standard
Mainstream.
mainstream. Like in Norway, it's very seen as everyone is allowed to have their faith. It's
Mm.
free in the sense of that. Yeah, go ahead, believe what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but keep it within the
Yes.
closed walls of your home. Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't be too out there. And people can be quite negative towards Christianity
Yes.
if you start talking about it. So even if it seems to be like so accepting, in reality, it's not always that accepting, and people are kind of looking at you. If you truly believe with your whole heart that God is real and He created the world
Mm.
in 7 days, you are most of the time seen as a pretty weird person, and
Yeah.
they think that something must
Ignorance.
be a bit wrong with you, or you're a bit dumb.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the environment here.
It reminds me a lot. This last Sabbath, our pastor was preaching on Revelation chapter 11 about the two witnesses and how the prophecy talks about the French Revolution. And though that particular prophecy was the historic event, there's this principle that keeps coming back throughout time in society. And that is this: first, you have for years, you have a false gospel being preached, a wrong image of God presented from the church to the people. And that had happened all during the medieval times, the Dark Ages. And the French Revolution was a reaction kind of to everything that had happened. And they had had enough of that kind of God and that the church exercising that kind of power. They were just really fed up with the way things were going from the religious point of view, that the pendulum swung to the other side, and they just rejected everything that was Christian, even to the point of where they instituted a 10-day week instead of a 7-day week, because that finds its origin in the Bible. They were burning the Bibles, banning the Bibles, so persecuting a lot of Christians. And that kind of mindset we are seeing, where they have taken a distance from God and instead have elevated reason or science, humanism, as their God. That's what they worship. And that's what they see as superior. They would never see it
as a God, but
right. But that's what they see as superior, and therefore they're accepting of other things, but their superior view is definitely the one that is right, and that one should be taught to everyone as fact. And so that is also what has impacted, for example, our family when it comes to how we want to raise our son. And that has played an influence in the choice, for example, for homeschooling, because different values are taught that are not in line with how we want to raise our son. So in that way, it has definitely impacted our family in quite a big way. But we even...
Especially in the sense of that in Sweden,
exactly.
you're not even allowed to like homeschool.
She's from Sweden.
Yeah, so we moved from Sweden to Norway to at least be able to homeschool. So in a way, in the Scandinavian countries, it's thought of being very open countries, but it is very secular countries, and it's actually not so tolerable to Christianity when it really comes down to if you want to live it out. It's a bit double, because also if you look at the history, it has been very Christian here. It's Protestant countries, and for a long time, it's been Christian. So you have a lot of the moral and cultural left from the Christian era, but nowadays people are not per se acknowledging that comes from the Christian heritage. And today, even if recently I think Norway changed from that they are no longer a Christian country.
Openly. Publicly.
But even if you look on statistics and so, it looks on paper like, it's a Christian country, like 60% profess to
are part of the church, right?
Are part of the Norwegian state church. But that's not what is reflected in the actual society. If you look into it more, then 50% or less, about 50%, say that they believe that there is a God, but that includes whatever any God. Form of God, and then if you go down more, is 20 people. That would be very low, but 20% that are professing to be professed Christians.
And only 2% regularly attend church. No, it was 3 in 1997. 2016 dropped to 2%.
Okay, so that's a very small part suddenly of the population compared to where in USA I saw statistics recently about that. It's 45-50% of young people that are professed Christians, really Christian, living out their Christianity. Which I was like, what? That is so much.
That's different here.
So that's very different, which we notice very much in us living as missionaries here. It's a very unusual thing for the first, but then also when wanting to because we feel we have discovered something so amazing. So when you feel that, wow, this is so beautiful, and we want to share it with other people because we want good for them, but then when trying to share anything of it, you are met with very much hostility, especially from older generations. Which you can share about when we were out, maybe.
This last Christmas I took the opportunity for filming another video for another channel, to ask people on the street what they thought about, or what they had heard about why Jesus' birth would be important. And I asked this a few days before Christmas on the city square. There were cozy lights and Christmas music was playing. They were singing about God and Jesus in the background. But as soon as I mentioned the name Jesus in my question, people literally turned away and walked away. They just did not. They wanted to participate with the question, but then they heard it's something about Jesus. Oh no,
Like, no.
and they walk away.
And someone got angry.
Yeah.
I was also there asking people, and we were very like, what? But
Yeah.
this of any time we would have thought that around Christmas it would be okay to ask such a question.
But even when then it's not. But
yeah.
that is again the same principle, like from the French Revolution. False picture of God. And that is what the people are rejecting. That is why they're being so kind of against it. Sure, there's people who just genuinely don't believe, but there's a lot who have been shaped and influenced by this. Yeah, they've been presented this wrong image of what God would be like and burning people in hell forever. The church having abused their power, or finance scandals, whatever, all these kinds of things. Other Christians just misrepresenting God and being judgmental. And so their picture of God, that is what they are rejecting. And that is why partially that, but also, of course, partially what the Bible always brings with it is that it has a statement of absolute truth, right? So there are certain things that rub people the wrong way because it would make them feel guilty and it would convict them, and they know that their lifestyle isn't right and they would need to change. And so that always comes with the presentation of the gospel, which is good because that's what it meant to do. And then we lift up Jesus as the one who can, heal them and restore them and give them an actual hope and solve their problems. But that's not the way they see it. They just want to live comfortably their own way according to their reasoning. They want to just follow the mainstream and just blend in with everyone else.
Yeah, what we have noticed a lot is that people here have it very good. So, like it's a rich country,
Materialistically.
and you don't see much homelessness in the streets, not even in the bigger cities. It's like this whole system is built up for taking care of people. The healthcare system is like that. People, everyone has availability for the healthcare.
It's not like the US where you have a bill that no one can afford.
No. So it's very much a system in society which is springing from Christian values, but that is to take care of each other. And it's a nice, like in Norway, people are very nice and still have this mindset of like helping each other out. So it's, you have many of the Christian principles, but they are like kind of taken care of by the government. So it is also, people feel that, they have everything.
Yes,
They don't have any need. So that is something we meet often when talking to people. They're like actually saying literally like that. No, I have it good. No, I don't have any need. So that is making it a bit harder to actually reach people with an understanding of that we all have a desperate need of Jesus as our savior.
Yeah.
Because when people think that they are, it's just fine, they will not come to an understanding of like the need we all actually are in.
Yeah.
So that is something that can make it a bit hard to be a Christian here. Like it's not hard for our safety sake, but it's hard for the sense of that when you have found Jesus, you just long for more people to find him, and that is hard here.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk to people about Jesus. It's hard to actually help them to get to know Jesus personally. So yeah, that is one of the biggest like struggles here to see. Okay, how can we reach the people? How can we help them to be saved for eternity? We care so much for them, but we. Like how to break through all those layers of both the skepticism and not having a need, and like that is a challenge here.
But the interesting thing is, among young people, there seems to be a shift. Because I think the young people have been exposed to this French Revolution mindset of reason is the goddess, we do things our way, immorality, all kinds of things, rejecting the Christian values. And I think a lot of people feel that life is vain, life is empty, without purpose. There are so many mental health issues that are on the rise. And I think young people are looking, especially young people, are looking for something more. They are looking for hope. They are looking for another way. And of course, even among the older generations, it's not like all of them are, that close-minded. There are people there too that are open, and that is why we are out doing outreach and loving people, wanting to connect with people, serving them, because you never know who is open. But yeah, that is a challenge that we're having, as well as an opportunity which we are very excited to take hold of.
Yeah, because what you say with the young people is like recently, it's been even in the news, like in Sweden and also here in Norway, that it's on the rise. Like in Sweden, they were saying
interest in Jesus.
Yeah, interest in Jesus among young people. That Jesus was on top 3 of what would become trendy in 2025. We were like, what? That is so unusual for being here. And in Norway too, that so many young people want to go to Christian schools, that it's like a waiting line, or like which is
list.
Waiting list. but it's like showing this increase, and we have noticed it when being out on the street also, that the young people, they are actually open to hear. They want to know more about Jesus, and that's amazing. So it is like a shift that is about to come through, we hope, and that people are more interested.
Yeah, and actually a big challenge normally for Christians living here is then what you were saying, to kind of be sucked into the world of where we have it good, we don't have a need, and you kind of settle for, you become more and more kind of worldly and adopt things from the world. And because the whole culture is also blending in with others. Yeah. So that is a challenge, to really dare to live out your faith to the full and to not compromise with worldliness. That is definitely a challenge here as well. Yeah. But overall, we are enjoying the freedom while we have it. And we are trying to take hold of most of the opportunities that we can to share with others. And
we love living in Norway. So
like, it's a beautiful country.
Yes, and we love the people here. Yeah. So, well, we of course have are longing for more people here in Norway and Scandinavia to find the ultimate hope. And so we just continue on that journey.
That's right. So those were some of our thoughts and experiences. Hope that you thought it was interesting. Let us know in the comments below in what country you are living and what's it like for you to be a Christian there. Are you facing these kind of challenges? Are you facing other challenges? We'd love to hear from you. We want to read through all of the comments and try to answer as many as possible. We'll see you next time on the Sandelin Sofa.